Fred Astaire, an all-American star of musical cinema during the 1930s and 40s, Astaire found his way into the hearts and minds of countless people thanks to his dazzling dance routines. Often regarded as ugly and unsellable to Hollywood executives casting actors for their big-budget films, Astaire couldn't rely on sex appeal to make his movies big hits. Due to this fact, he had to make up for it with skills on set, which were immaculate to say the least. Always known as a perfectionist by many other artists he worked with throughout his career, Fred worked tirelessly to make sure he got every routine entirely right. Astaire didn't originally start his dancing career in film, but rather on Broadway and doing traveling shows. Him and his sister began dancing together at a young age and were partners for many years until they were forced to separate and go their own ways. Ultimately, Astaire found himself on film after making a cameo appearance in the 1933 film Dancing Lady. Seen here, he does a routine with Joan Crawford. This was during the pre-code period of Hollywood, when film studios were taking advantage of the freedom of expression they were entitled to and were producing movies with more risque topics and visuals. In this film in particular, Joan Crawford plays a stripper turned Broadway dancer. Despite having the option to behave more seductively and sexy on camera, Astaire maintains a respectful posture with Crawford, making sure to focus more so on the dancing than anything else. Notice the spacing between the two throughout the routine, which is polite without making things look awkward. Aside from his sister, Astaire's other famous dancing partner, except this time on-screen, was Ginger Rogers. She too had started off on Broadway and was relatively new to the film industry when she teamed up with Astaire. The two did many movies together, often playing as lovers. They were seen as the perfect duo because her beauty and acting skills made up for Astaire's perceived ugliness and his lack of acting expertise. Top Hat, released in 1935, was the biggest hit featuring both Astaire and Rogers, and although they typically played the roles of a love interest, Astaire was known to never cross certain boundaries on screen, and they maintained an innocent high school lovers type on-camera relationship. Notice how you can feel the closeness and affection in this scene without being over-the-top sexualized. It seems as though Astaire wants you to focus on the dancing rather than overwhelming the audience with sex appeal. Fred Astaire made it clear throughout his entire career that he did not like the idea of on-screen open affection. Even as he and Ginger Rogers were doing film after film together, he was not open to displaying any sort of passion other than a long hug or embrace. Due to America's growing fondness of the on-screen couple, people within Hollywood were hoping that the two would have some sort of kiss to appeal to their audience. Astaire vehemently refused to do so for a long time. Even in the 1936 film Swing Time, a shared kiss between the two was really only alluded to and was not actually seen on camera, as shown here.
Oh, it's a cape.
The cape is nice. Black is nice. Your hair is nice. And you... Oh. Lucky.
According to Astaire's biographer, Fred's wife was often concerned with his relationship with Rogers and would often grow jealous of the two, making for Fred to distance himself even further with his dancing partner throughout the years. They did end up kissing once on screen, but it was very modest and apparently had to be put into slow motion due to it being such a quick encounter, and really it was just a peck on the lips. Often labeled as the gentleman of Hollywood, Fred Astaire kept it strictly professional. While other musical actors of his time period used their handsomeness and good looks to woo the audience, Astaire stuck to just dancing. The innocent relationship between him and Ginger Rogers also kept his image squeaky clean. Despite all of that, he still goes down as one of the greatest on-screen dancers in the history of film, having influenced the likes of people like Gene Kelly, Michael Jackson, and countless others. Overall, Astaire showed that it was possible to be a gentleman and keep the appeal to attract a wide audience, which made him so incredibly popular.
onion, red hairs on it. For that dope, we dance like Fred Astaire on it. Patent leather, red Air Forces. Yeah, it's gorgeous.